Hello, welcome. I just wanted to shoot this quick video on how to write a sales page in an afternoon. I recently did this for a client. They were just looking originally he was going to write it himself, and in the last minute he's like, listen, I just need to get this out there. I want it to be good. Can you just do it for me? And I didn't have much time, so I was just like, all right, I'll give you, a couple hours on a Friday afternoon, just crank this out, and we'll see, we'll just get it good enough just to ship out there. It didn't have to be amazing. Let's just get this, good enough to go. So wanted to walk you through the process of how I did that. So it started off, and I mean, it actually came out pretty decent. I was really impressed with what we managed to do in like 4 to 5 hours. So first thing I did was read a handful of competitors' sales pages. And there's a couple reasons for doing this. First, a lot of the research that what your clients want, their desires, their pain points is already done for you and already exists in their sales pages. Their key objections that they don't want to, this is a fitness product for men, key objections that they don't want to spend hours at the gym, that they don't want to have to eat weird food, stuff like that. You learned that from the sales pages. Their key desires in their words. Like there was one sales page I read that was over and over talking about like look good naked. So it's like, all right, that's that this guy is a good marketer. He knows what he's doing. I'm sure that, like, I'm kind of taking a bit of a guess at that. These are probably the words that resonate, probably the words that their audience is using themselves when they say why they want to get fit. And then the other reason, just kind of like just reading that stuff gets your own juices flowing. You kind of find key phrases and points they cover that you're like, oh man, that's really smart. So you can kind of like what I do, I just copy it and paste it onto the document of like, maybe I want to say this in some version, but in my own words, something like that. I know I had a whole bunch of lists of things like that. And most of them didn't make it onto the page, but it certainly gave me some sort of backup ammunition and something to aim for. So that was the first step, is reading the competitors' sales pages. And then what also took place before I could do this was interviewing the guy who, the product owner. This is like a coaching thing. So interviewed him, found out, why he does this, how, what his process is, how he got into this, his, credentials and background. So learned his story. Also interviewed some clients. So I learned, what their goals were when they signed up, why they signed up with him, what frustrations and stuff they were dealing with, but right before signing up. That way I could really, meet them where they are right now, in their level of awareness in terms of this product and what they need. And then, so then the other thing was also getting clear on what the USP is. So for this product, a lot of weight loss products talk about losing weight fast. That was not where we wanted to go with this. This was more about, and just looking at this product, how it compares to others. It's a complete fitness program that's nutrition and food. It's about, customizing it to your lifestyle, as opposed to here's a program that you have to try to cram into. It's about getting, creating gradual change and lasting results, as opposed to, amazing change in 3 weeks. So yeah, the USP is basically that this is a customized program for gradual change and lasting results. Again, not the greatest USP, but it's definitely, for when you're just trying to whip something together fast and you have that idea of what makes your product unique compared to everything else out there, you want to have that just in the back of your mind before you even start writing, because it's just going to show up in your writing. And I'll show you exactly how and where that does later. And then, so what else did I want to look for? Oh yeah, so I also wanted to get clear on like, okay, what's the common problem, or what's the main problem they have? And in talking with the clients, I learned it was like, okay, they're putting in work, but they're not getting results they think they should be getting. Like that's the big problem. They're out of shape. They feel gross. They feel they should look better, and they want to feel more confident about how they look. That's the problem. The common solutions that don't work, which is a lot of like, a lot of the training out there, or like a lot of like the videos, or get on this program, which I'll go into more in the copy of where to use that. But so I had that idea of the, what they wanted, the common solutions that don't work, and, the common enemy, which which I'll get into that later. But I also, like, that was also just one of those things to get in my mind. I decided the media was going to be the enemy because they're the ones promoting all these, useless programs that don't work. So once I had all that stuff, I knew who I was talking to. I knew what they wanted. I had my mojo going a little bit from reading all the other programs, knew what was unique about this. Then it was time to just dive in and start writing. So first place I started writing was the intro. So I started right about here, and I just, a proven way of getting attention early and just kind of is, and hooking readers is painting the dream of what they want. So you want to, get them to really feel and experience what it's going to be like, having used your product in the time afterwards. So I just sat there, I was like, okay, like, what do they want? Like, they want to look good in the mirror. Like, that's, they're like right now they're looking at themselves in the mirror going, this is disgusting. Like, what's wrong with me? They want to look good in the mirror, feel confident about themselves, while not having to do weird stuff to their diet or work out insane hours. So I painted a picture. I just told a little story of like, okay, imagine 3 months from today, you're shaving your bath, and your girl comes in and her eyes light up when she sees you. And I'm basically just like painting the picture of them having a strong body, and the effect that it's having on the girl in their life, which is going to resonate probably stronger with single men who are doing this partially because they want to be more attractive. And attract women. And then, so we go into this whole story about, okay, this woman's like, running her fingers along your abs, and then she's asking if you want pizza, and you do quick calculations in your head, like, yeah, you can have plenty of, you've got room for pizza. So right away, I'm also proving like, yeah, you're getting that body, and you're able to still stuff your face with pizza because you know how your body works. Which we get into a little bit later. You've calculated your macros, and you can have more, and then quickly just talk about how easy it is to calculate macros with it's laughable how easy all this is, because immediately when you bring up something like that, they're going to have objections, so you want to ease that right away. So basically, this whole thing, long story short, we're just painting a picture of what this guy is looking for, and letting him, feel and experience that as if he's already there, because then, he's gonna want it more. And will this resonate? I don't know. We'll find out. It's kind of a proven method. Ramit uses it in his sales pages. Some other guys have used. You go on to, there's some, I forget what it was called, VSL that made $1 million in like a couple weeks. That was, started off, just imagine this, like your house is paid off, you've got this nice car and all this stuff. There's, it's used a lot, and it does pretty well. So you do that whole imagine, and I have the whole thing on how to write copy like this, how to write that sort of dream copy of where you paint the dream for them. It's on my website. Just look for dream copy. You'll find it. Got a whole guide to it that makes it easy. And then, so immediately after that sort of paint the dream scenario of, oh, you're in great shape, your women are fawning after you, and you're looking in the bathroom feeling proud of your body, because that's really, they want the body, but they also want like the confidence that goes with it. That's kind of the more emotional thing, and the desire and like being noticed from women, like those are kind of the more subtle emotional components. So we talk about that too. And and then going after the overcoming the objections of like, oh, and you're doing all this while still eating pizza and while not working out that much. So we tell that little story of what they're getting. And then we go straight into testimonials. A lot of times I see testimonials on pages that are just like buried, And I'm always so shocked and confused about that because testimonials are so powerful, and it's also often like the best part of people's copy, and they'll just like stuff it at the bottom because they saw some other sales page do that or something. Yeah, but it's real proof that you are that you can deliver what you claim, and you want to tie your claims and your proof together. So after making that claim, I'm showing these guys who, say they feel like a new person, they lost all this weight, showing the proof. And then we go straight into, after you can get their attention with the, that sort of dream copy, painting the dream for them. But then they're going to be like, all right, who the hell are you? Why should I listen to you? Even if they already know you, you still want to remind them. So I could just go straight into, fitness coach, 7 years experience, just kind of being straightforward. I've got all these fancy, fitness degrees, I'm someone who actually knows what I'm talking about. So you just deliver, and after delivering, the general sort of credentials, which if you don't have, there's a way around it. And this is actually what I go into next, because it's great to learn from the guy who's super smart, but they also want to know that you've been through something similar to what they're going through. Especially for something like fitness, that can be, it's not for every industry, but for fitness, you can certainly see it. If you're a really skinny guy, you probably want to learn from a really skinny guy. If you've had a lot of, you want to know you're learning from someone who's been like this, not some like jerk who was just born looking like freaking Fabio. So that's why I tell the story of, this, he was 12 years old and his sister called him a fat ass, and that kind of spurred him to learn all this stuff about fitness. So it makes him more relatable, and it shows like how he did have this own journey of himself, and he went from being a little overweight to being in much better shape now. There's also this line how I went from a skin and bone teenager, which was true, to a strong college but chunky college kid getting the body I wanted finally. This having that skin and bone line, I really wanted it because there's a lot of I was always a skinny person, and I'm like pretty much only going to want to learn from someone who is also really skinny, because otherwise I'm just like, screw you, mesomorph, what the hell do you know? So even though it's kind of a bummer I couldn't get a picture to prove it, which isn't ideal, because if you're going to make a claim, you want to have proof. I'm kind of making a claim without proof, which isn't the best thing in the world, but we didn't really have time to dig deep for photocopied pictures of high school pictures. So hopefully this will just be enough. There's enough credibility elsewhere that I think we can be okay. Anyway, so after telling the story of who this person is, now, so we've showed them, what's in store for them. We showed them the credibility of why we should listen to you. But they're still going to be like, okay, but what makes you and this different from the zillion other things out there? Share like what's so great about your program. So this is where we start to educate them. We understand where they're at right now, and we also create a need for this product by showing how all the things they're doing and trying aren't working, giving them the reasons why, and then getting at like the real source of this problem and the real solution that they need that hasn't been brought to them until today. So so the way we do this is just introducing okay, here are 3 lessons I learned basically over the course of my journey of fitness. First thing we talk about is nutrition, because this is in talking with this guy, I learned that this was a big thing. People just weren't that aware of their nutrition, and once they start to be, they see dramatic improvement. So we basically bring up the fact that listen, you're not seeing the results because you're not counting macros. We're just kind of taking an authoritarian stance on it and just telling you the facts right now. And we're also just leaving that doubt of, don't worry, this is easy. If you can do 3rd grade math, you can do it, no problem. And we're just kind of being like, listen, this is the hard reality, the cold truth that nutrition and macros matter. Then we go into the next lesson, which is, because, so many of the things out there are just, like they're unsustainable. It's all about programs that they try to like shoehorn you into this, special program, but if it doesn't fit your lifestyle or your goals, and you're not going to stick with it, you're not going to see results, you're going to give up on it. This is something that they are going to be nodding their head going like, oh man, I've done that. Yep. I tried that diet where I only eat 6 foods over and over every day, and it didn't work. So yeah, we're just kind of explaining the struggles they're in a way that gets them to see that why they haven't been able to see success up until now. And so while we're doing this, we're kind of like showing we understand them and showing that we're different from all this other stuff they tried. And then we also have a really cool teaching moment in here. It's if you can be teaching in your copy, that's super powerful. So we have something kind of counterintuitive here. You already had the perfect plan, but you didn't realize it. And then we go into talk about how, if you have a new workout routine, then that could increase cortisol levels, which increases water retention. So even if you are burning fat, you're not seeing weight loss because you have all this extra water retention. So you could see a massive dip in weight, but you wound up, because you like once that water leaves you and you aren't as stressed, but because you don't see that, you give up on your program too early. That's just a really cool insight that proves, it shows our authority, and it teaches them a new way to look at their problem. It teaches them, how much they don't know. And it like creates this problem of like, oh wow, like even if you have the perfect plan that you're doing, if you don't know the signs of progress, then that could cause you to give up on it. So we're teaching them about the need to have a coach here, through an actual story and proof. And so then at the end of doing that, that's when we go into, okay, this is all this stuff is what's been keeping you back, but it's not your fault, it's the media's. This is where we get into that, having a common enemy thing, because you don't want them to feel bad and guilty about where they're at. You want to kind of alleviate their own pain and just show that you're in this together. You're not there to nag them, you're there to guide them. And so that's what we're doing here. Talk about how the media is just interested in the great Vin Diesel headline, and they're not. It's less sexy. It's more sexy to talk about Vin Diesel's new workout than the impact of cortisol and water retention. Except the first one's not going to get you anywhere, as we already proved, and the second one is the important stuff you actually need to know, but they're not going to talk about. So then after that, we've kind of painted this. Okay, like we've brought them down this hole of like, okay, like now what? Like all this stuff out there doesn't work. Crap. So now we go into, okay, here's what actually does work. And this is where we start to even more like show how our program is going to be different. It shows like, okay, if you want an actual plan, like if you want an actual program that works, here's the stuff you need. Talk about tracking, which a lot of programs don't have. Accountability, which a lot of, we just kind of grazed over because this audience already knows the value of accountability, but they probably don't have it in this instance. Structure and flexibility. This is a really cool area where we're able to talk about what makes this product different. Talk about the need to have a plan that's flexible, that can fit your lifestyle, and also enough structure so you're not trying to figure everything out on your own and just getting dizzy trying to figure everything on your own, which is kind of reflects how they feel. And this is just very authoritarian. It would be a lot better if this was told in the form of the story, but because we were just kind of cranking it out, it was just kind of like, listen, I'm the expert and I'm just gonna like tell you the 6 things you need right now, which is fine. It's not great, but it's good. And then, so after we tell them, all the stuff that doesn't work, all the stuff that actually does work, and then we go into, oh, and what do you know? Here's this program that has all those things. So we just introduce the course. Initially, it was a 12-week body transformation, but I was like, all right, we need something to make this a little bit more unique. And I started thinking about, Beachbody, and how that's such a great name because, you got the benefit right in the name of what it is. So I just kind of stole that a little bit and said Dream Body. So yeah, it makes it just a little bit more, what do you call it? Proprietary. It's a bit more like, okay, it's not just a transformation course. It's not just a 12-week transformation course. It's a 12-week Dream Body course. It makes it a more specific to this guy. And having the 12-week part actually that was initially his idea, which was really smart. Because that just makes it more of a tangible thing. You've got like this end date of when you can expect results, as opposed to just introducing this as a forever coaching program, which it really is. But 3 months is the time it takes to really get like those new habits, and that's going to like start to lead to lasting change. So because it was that minimum thing, we're just like, all right, let's call it a 12-week course, and then with the option for ongoing coaching, which ideally is what people will be going for, which is what people who have signed up have been going for. So then now, once you get to the part where you're introducing the product, just be super straightforward, tell the people what they're getting. You get one-on-one online coaching, hammer out customized exercise routines, and a fitness and nutrition plan that's tailored to fit your goals. Then we get into a little bit more of why this is unique. This is a scientific approach. We work together. We start small, find out what's best for you, keep what's working, discard what doesn't. So right there, they're seeing why, you're showing them why this is different from everything else out there. And then we just go over, exactly what they're getting. A lot of this was actually written by the client. I was just like, just tell me what's in this. And I didn't change very much except for giving a little bit of intro copy. And yeah, just super straightforward what they're getting. A lot of times this is a good place to start writing your copy. Just straight up tell them what they're getting, because it'll just get you moving. It'll, get the words flowing. And then from there you can go to like the intro or some other part. And then, so after we let them know what they're getting, we go to the, is this right for you section. And this is, again, just be super straightforward and be real about who this is for and who it's not. A lot of people like to get friggin' cute and salesy here. And they're just like, oh, if you're not, if you're not ready to have giant biceps, then don't join. It's like, shut the fuck up. Like, everyone's ready to look great. Like, you're not being real. And then you just like come off salesy and people won't trust you. So we were just super straightforward. If you have severe injury, if you're undergoing rehab, this isn't for you. If you're a bodybuilder, it's not for you. If you're looking to like lose a bunch of weight in the next 2 weeks, like this isn't your program, dude. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, this isn't a cheap thing. This is about results, not. It's not about finding the cheapest option. It's about finding the best option. That's kind of like the attitude you want to have a lot of times in writing your copy, because you're going to get a lot of. You kind of got to reframe that conversation in their mind from like, oh, I'm bargain hunting, to like, no, you're not bargain hunting. Like, you actually want results, right? You actually do you want what's cheap, or do you want what's the best? And then they can be like, yeah, I want what's actually the best. I want these results. So that's what we're kind of doing more in this who this is for section. This is for, men with great jobs. We're just kind of describing the men who he tends to work with, who have had some experience, and, men who are willing to sweat and push their limits. There's an interesting thing in copy. You don't want to like make your thing sound like a ton of like hard work people want to do. But, you don't always have to do that like super fast and easy, especially if it's not the truth. So while you don't want to make it sound like a labor of torture, it is okay to make it be like, listen, this is a challenge. And then to really kind of like nudge them and push them on that. And, especially for men, just think of like, Marty McFly in Back to the Future, when anytime Biff wanted to get McFly to do something, he'd be like, what's the matter, you chicken? And McFly's like, don't call me chicken, I'll do whatever. You can kind of do that in copy, being like, listen, if you can't handle like some tough workouts now and then. If you're like, you know, you don't have to say it like this, but if you're just like, listen, if you're too much of a bitch, fine, leave. That's kind of the attitude and the kind of like needling you can do to get their, you know, get them emotionally engaged, to be like, yeah, like I'm ready to do this, you know, get that kind of machismo going. So then after this is for that, we have this section on introducing cost. And normally when I do this, you want to have like something really concrete to frame it against, something concrete and higher, to be like, you know, normally this would be, if you want to do this on yourself, it's $15,000. And if you try all these other processes, it's $10,000. And I thought about making this $8,000, but because X, Y, and Z reason, believable, real reason, you know, I've only made this Y dollars, which is less than everything else you've mentioned. But I didn't do that here because I looked at all the other, well, two reasons. One, we're not actually asking them to buy anything, so you know we can give them the price on the phone. And two, I looked at the competition, and none of them had their prices up there. So I was just like, all right, like this, we don't need to harp on this too much. We can just get them to fill out the application and get them on the phone. But what we do, we add a little bit of urgency, talking about how he raises his price every few months, and you know, and relieving the risk from them, reminding them, listen, we're just hopping on the phone and chatting. Then you can make a decision. You know, you're not deciding anything today. You don't risk anything right now. And then I love this part. We just you know, once we go through that whole sales pitch, we say, actually, you can't have any of this. And I'm all booked up. And so, you know, we make this, you know, yeah, you can fill out an application, hop on the wait list, and we'll get back, you know, fine. Again, really being harping on, you know, this is about finding out if we're a good fit. You know, if after I review your thing and if I decide that we're a good fit, you know, then we can talk. And this really puts you in a position of strength, as opposed to a lot of people out there who are just like, oh, just sign up today, hey, let's work together. Like, you know, it's showing you're discerning. So, and that you're, you know, it's that you're busy. You got that social proof. You're booked up. All right, so, and then after all that, we have the FAQ section. And again, this is, I got some of these from looking at the competition, and others I was just imagining if I was, like, what questions would I have? Like why can't you just send me some videos? And again, the answers to this is super straightforward. You know, we're not trying to like sell hard or anything here. We're just giving them the answers, because if they have any unresolved questions about exactly what they're getting or what this is about, then like that can be a barrier. It can stop them from buying. So like this is just about resolving that doubt. And FAQ sections have been shown to have like really strong effects on at least VSLs. So you know, why not add it to a sales page? And all right, so after doing all that, then and only then do I start to work on the headline. This is a thing for me. I know some writers like to do the headline first and kind of get clear on what they're saying and then do it. Personally, I kind of get more clear on what I'm saying as I write, and then, you know, based on what I write, I can write a headline to fit that. So I like to do the headline last. And, you know, how to is just such an easy go-to for me. You know, how to, and I don't know, this just kind of popped out. Normally doing headlines, I'll, you know, look at a bunch of old, like I'll look at what competition's doing, or I'll just look at like other industries, like proven headlines, and I'll just kind of like think of how I can apply that to what we're doing here. I think this one just popped out pretty quick. I was like, all right, how to get insanely fit while still having a life. Like that really sums up what we're doing here. And then we're just getting straight into what this is, 12-week Dream Body program, burn fat, build muscle, get the best stage of your life and stay that way. We're getting into the unique selling proposition here about, you know, staying that way. We're getting to the benefits of what they're getting, just super straightforward. And then we have this, you know, 12-week program, makes it unique and specific to us. Get the lean body you're proud of, bringing more emotion into it, eating whatever you want. That's just overcoming the main objection that they're going to have immediately is, oh, you're going to make me work out a ton and eat weird stuff. Like, no, you can eat whatever you want and only work out 5 hours a week, which is all true. And then when you're going to make big promises in your headline, you want to back that up immediately. So that's why I threw in another testimonial immediately below that headline. And then also added a little bit of a pre-headline, where I'm just calling out exactly who I'm writing to. A lot of, in my research, I learned that the people, like I said, these people were tired of coming in and not seeing results, from their other programs. So I just, all right, this is exactly who this is for. This is all pretty simple, straightforward stuff. It's not like an earth-shattering headline, but it's pretty clear about benefits. It's unique. What it's missing is urgency. There's none of that. If, maybe throwing in a, offer open for the next 3 people, or, some sort of reason to act now. But, it is, specific enough, I think, about what they're getting, how they're getting it, and why that matters. So we're just going to roll with it. And if we find out that if the sales page isn't converting well, I think the first thing I would do would be rewrite the headline and the lead, because, and by lead I mean that whole imagined story, because that's generally where that's the most important part of copy. And if something's not working, that's generally where to go. Second thing I'd probably do is be stronger around the pricing. And yeah, so we'll see how this goes. This isn't live yet, but just wanted to show you the process I went through so you can crank out a sales page in a couple hours if you need to. So to recap, that's, you paint the dream, what their life is going to look like, really let them, see themselves and feel it. Introduce who you are. You can use the 60-second sales hook. I love that from Kevin Rogers. Your credibility, and then go into a story of your own struggle and what you learned and where you are now. And then, get into a bit about, what they've tried, why that's not working, and what they need instead, and then introduce your product. Just being straightforward about what they're getting, that go into who it's for, who it's not for. Frame the price, justify the price, make it sound like a deal. It's not the cheap thing, but it's, it's still like they would still pay a lot more to get those results, is basically kind of what you want to go for. And then have a close, which I got rid of. Actually, I wrote a whole close for this, but I deleted it because we just didn't need it. Because it's, because it's just an application, and it's just a, as opposed to a sale. And it was just kind of, I don't know, I just didn't feel we needed it. And then, an FAQ section. So yeah, do that. You have yourself a sales page, one that's good enough, and you can move on with your life. And if things need tweaking, headline and, or if it's not performing, headline and lead is first, should probably be the first thing on your list to work on next time around. Okay, that's all I got. Thank you very much for checking this out, and I will chat with you guys later. Peace.